So Beverly, you're here today at Breaking the Silence. How
Yes.
important is a conference like this for women?
I think it is vital, especially for women of color, not excluding any other ethnicity, but especially women of color.
Okay.
Because we have a tendency to either hold secrets or not talk. And it's just something that's culturally handed down. You know, I don't think women are, most of them are even aware why you so silent, why you take care of everybody but you, because it's innately given to us. You know,
So
and
it's
until
important.
you break that, it'll be that way.
Right.
You know, so I'm hoping that this is a part of breaking that silence.
So what role do you play in helping women come to an understanding that silence is deadly?
Well, I come from the HIV perspective because in 1994 I tested positive. Prior to that, I had no understanding about HIV. I had no clarity on why would you want to run around and tell everybody. I just was anti-HIV until I tested positive and that paper was handed to me. And my whole life flashed in front of my face. Then I understood that silence will kill me.
Right.
And in order to save somebody else, I have to step out of myself and talk about it.
Right.
And that's what I've been doing since 1994. And I tested positive in prison. So I was ostracized. I was kept in a cell for 4 months, not able to have a roommate,
So you
with a
were
red
isolated.
stamp over my name that I was infected and I was a keep-away. They
So
put
what did
plastic
something like
handcuffs on and they wore a mask. They ordered that I wear a mask.
What did that do for your self-esteem?
It broke me. I have to say, it broke me. I was shattered because I'm an intelligent woman, even though I suffer from drug and alcohol addiction. I knew I had the intellect, and I knew that what was happening to me I didn't deserve. You know, so that's why I took that pain of how you treated me and how ostracized I felt. I took that and I absorbed myself in HIV/AIDS. So today, I'm certified for the County of Los Angeles to test people, give them the results, and I'm also a health educator.
So you took that negative and
I
made
took
it a
that
positive.
negative and made it a positive.
Amen. Thank you, Beverly.
Okay.
Hear yourself. Be responsible, take your medicine, you'll be fine. Next slide. And why do we need a test? Because we need to start treatment on people who have HIV. The new guidelines this year said that all people with HIV should be put on treatment. Before, we used to wait until the person's immune system or their CD4 count or T cells drop to a certain level. It is now recommended to start at whatever level. Because now we know medicine is good. We know the benefits of treating HIV from the beginning. Next slide. You don't know unless you test. We have over 30 medicines to treat HIV now. A combination of those in a cocktail. We really only use the newer medicines now, which have very good side effects and are very effective. Next slide. And we've gone from one hand to the other. Treatment now is so much easier than before. Anyone who's been in this business a long time knows exactly what I'm talking about. Handfuls of pills 2 or 3 times a day, now to 1 pill once a day. So get up and take your vitamin, take your apple, and get out of this, control your HIV. Next slide. Click it twice. What happens when we started people on treatment, click it again. That the more people we put on PARP, which is what's called highly active antiretroviral therapy, in the cocktail. Click it again. We saw that the death rate of HIV plummeted. Medicine works. Next slide. Let's talk about PrEP. I've got about 5 to 7 minutes to talk about PrEP. Anybody know who they are? Hey, okay. Much language out there. That's good. Salt and pepper. Let's talk about PrEP. Anyway, PrEP. PrEP is called pre-exposure prophylaxis. What does that mean? It's a So the idea of someone who doesn't have HIV taking medicine, really the same medicine that you treat HIV, is taking it before you're exposed to it, so that if you are, you're protected from being infected. This has been a huge area in the HIV world the past multiple studies. We'll talk briefly about that. Next slide. So can a pill prevent HIV? That's been the question. We know it can treat it when you have it, but can it prevent it? That's been the big issue. Next slide. What we know is that one drug, particularly two drugs in particular, have been found to be the ones that are used extensively in studies to show that that is possible. Truvada, or the combination of FTC, TPF, or tenofovir, and tricidovir. Next slide. It comes with one pill. And there have been numerous studies that have looked at PrEP. Most of them actually done in Africa because they really want us to look at how can we prevent more infections in the world and in the highest place with the highest burden. And also can this work in both heterosexual populations, where most of the HIV is in around the world, and also in the MSM category. Next slide. There's multiple studies. There's a list of tons of them that have gone out. And I'm going to talk about two of them right now. Next slide. Even more. Almost 12 to 15 studies going on, some finished, have shown that it can work. Next slide. Aprisa was one that was published in 2010, which actually involved using one of the drugs, tenofovir, not as a pill, but as a gel. Women would place inside their vaginas for sex to protect them. Having the HIV drug in a gel that they put inside their vagina would protect the women from being infected from their partner. What this study showed is that if women use the gel effectively, 80% of the time, they reduce their risk of HIV by 50%. This was a landmark study because in some places, for instance in Africa, where there's higher rates of poverty, really a male-dominated society, women don't have any choices. Places where people are poor, the condoms cost as much as a meal, they're going to choose the meal before the condom. Or if a man will pay more to have sex without a condom, they'll take that much. This gives women an option. Next slide. These are the scientists that actually did it, Dr. Curry in South Africa. Next slide. Keep pushing. Just explain how they do the study. Next slide. This is the iPress study. This was actually a study done in human sex with men. And next slide. It showed that taking the pill reduced HIV acquisition by 44%. In a sex with men. The same study was mimicked in heterosexual couples. Multiple studies showing the same thing. Most of them in Africa. Next slide. Next slide. The CDC even came out with guidelines how to use this for doctors. So it's actually becoming prime time. And the issue is now getting insurances and other payers to pay for it. Next slide. And what's happened is that the FDA has approved Truvada this year as a drug to help prevent HIV infection in all populations. It's been approved. Based on these studies, multiple other studies that I want to list all of them, but it's been involving women, female patients. So there are options. Again, the issue is now because these drugs are not cheap to afford. There are issues around using it. PrEP is important, it can work, but it has to be taken correctly. It can't be just taken as needed or around. Sometimes it's really to be taken daily, especially for a woman or someone who's exposed readily to HIV. Next slide. There's hope. And also, I didn't mention the other statement. Another study done through the CDC looked at treatment as prevention. This was an aside, meaning that a patient whose partner is HIV positive, the HIV positive partner is put on, is taking their medicine. They are undetectable for the virus, which is the goal of treatment. Their chance of transmitting to their partner is reduced almost 96 to 99%. sense that the negative person, the person without HIV is taking medicine, but that person's partner is taking medicine to treat their HIV to the point that they're undetected. That reduces the risk of them actually being infected also. So it's not really PrEP, but you can call it, there is a partnership. One of those partners is creating a treatment, protecting their partner from HIV transmission. Next slide. What about PEP? PEP is post-exposure prophylaxis. This has been around for a while. Post-exposure means after you've been exposed, can you take medicine to prevent transmission? If you think of like the morning after pill, after you have sex, you want to prevent pregnancy, if you're being exposed to HIV, you're now taking medicine to prevent being infected. It's been around for a while. We use it in the occupational setting, meaning like in hospitals, clinics, where someone may be stuck with a needle, someone with HIV, we can give them HIV medicine, Truvada, within 72 hours to prevent them from being infected. And you need to have sexual transmission. It's also offered to women who are victims of sexual abuse, or men who are victims of sexual abuse or are raped. If the person that rapes them is HIV positive, the victim actually can take HIV medicine to prevent being infected. It's another tool. Just like many of you know about this area. They take the morning after pill to prevent pregnancy, and they can also take HIV medicine to prevent being infected with HIV. But the key is it needs to be taken as soon as possible, within 72 hours after the exposure. That's critical. You can't wait 2 weeks and say, oh, I better go and try to do something about it. It has to happen right away. So just to take anything, if you are ever a victim of sexual assault and suspect that person may be HIV or may have some other issue, this is a possibility. We can discuss that with the doctor. But the key is to get help right away. Do not wait. Do not wait. Next slide. This is a slide to talk about issues around post-exposure prophylaxis. Next slide. And the idea of HIV, is there a cure? People like to ask me, do you have a cure yet? Is there a cure? I heard there was a cure. Not yet. This guy here is probably the only guy in the world that ever quote-unquote had a cure from HIV. He's an American man living in Berlin, Germany, who was HIV positive for several years. And he was cured actually really by the grace of God and luck. He actually had lymphoma, blood cancer, that was treated with a bone marrow transplant. Meaning he had to basically obliterate his bone marrow where the white cells are stored when they have HIV and replaced with bone marrow from someone who's HIV negative. That basically cleared his, they call, reservoir, or the storage place for the cells affected with HIV, with new cells, and now apparently it's cured. But this can't be used in everyone. Everyone can't get a bone marrow transplant. Next slide. That's what we have this page. And again, I love my stigma slide, but this is, you can read that. What does this value that? With all of this, STDs, HIV, the idea of stigma is still huge. That's what keeps so many people from getting tested, from getting treatment, from taking care of themselves. You can't read this. This is a church billboard. I'm going to turn the light down. A church billboard in Birmingham, Alabama, which says AIDS is God's curse on homosexual life. But you can read that as AIDS is God's curse on sleeping around, doing drugs, partying too much, etc., etc. You know, the idea that AIDS is something beyond what it is, which is just a virus we treat. Thank you for listening.